Okay, the next problem says solve cosine 2x minus sine squared x equals cosine squared x plus 3 cosine x from 0 to 2 pi. So when we see this, we automatically know we're supposed to use our identities to solve and manipulate this formula. First thing I see is I only have one sine, and I have the rest are cosine. So my job is to move this around, try to get something with cosine. So first thing I'm going to do is, first thing I'm going to do is add sine squared x on both sides. So that leaves me cosine 2x over here equals cosine squared x plus sine squared x plus 3 cosine x. Okay, cosine squared x plus sine squared x we recognize as the Pythagorean identity. So we replace that with 1. So we get 1 plus 3 cosine x. All right, cosine 2x. And we notice we have cosine 2x. We need to change that because that's a double angle formula. So we need to look at the double angle formulas and see which one we're going to use. Well, we have cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta. We don't want to use that because we just got rid of the sine, so why put that back in? We have 2 cosine squared theta minus 1 and 1 minus 2 sine squared theta, and we don't want to use the 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. So we're going to use 2 times cosine squared theta minus 1. So 2 cosine squared x minus 1 equals 1 plus 3 cosine x. So the first thing we notice is now we have a square, and so we can manipulate it like it's a quadratic function. So we're going to move everything over to one side to set equal to 0 to solve. So minus 1 minus 3 cosine x. What I do over this side, I have to do over here. So minus 3 cosine x minus 1. And so that's 2 cosine squared x minus 3 cosine x. And the negative 1 and negative 1 we can put together as negative 2 equals 0. In order to solve this like a quadratic, I am going to pull the cosine out for a second. So 2x squared minus 3x minus 2 equals 0. And I can factor this because I know 2 times 1 will give me the 2. And I just need to put the x right here. And that will give me 2x squared. And then I need 2 numbers to multiply to give me 2, but add to give me negative 3. So only 2 numbers to multiply to give you 2 is 2 and 1. And neither 2 minus 1 or 2 plus 1 will do that because I have a negative and a negative. So one of these has to be positive and one has to be negative. And I know 2 minus 1 won't cut it out. But I know that we have a 2 up front, and I know 2 times 2 gives me 4, and 4 minus 1 gives me 3. And since the 2 is negative and the negative 3 is negative, the highest number has to be negative. So I'm going to put a negative, and I'm going to put a positive. So 2x times 1x gives me 2x squared. 2 times negative 2 gives me negative 4x. And then 1 times 1x gives me 1x. Negative 4 minus 1 is 3. And then 1 times negative 2 gives me negative 2. So that's correct. And so I sit this over here and I solve. I get 2x plus 1 equals 0. And then I get x minus 2 equals 0. Solve for both of these. X equals negative half and x equals 2. And if I'm looking at the unit circle, Remember that my unit circle goes from -1 to 1. So therefore, x cannot be 2. So then my job is to go ahead and draw my unit circle. So remember, if I'm drawing the cosine, I get 1/2 the square root of 2 over 2, and then the square root of 3 over 2. On this side, we get the negatives. -1/2, negative square root of 2 over 2, and negative square root of 3 over 2. On this side, we get negative square root of 3 over 2, negative square root of 2 over 2, and -1/2. So remember, 2 spots, I have -1/2. My job is to figure that out. So this is pi over 6. This is pi over 3. Four pi over 6, which reduces down to 2 pi over 3. And this is 5 pi over 6. This is 7 pi over 6. This is 8 pi over 6. Which reduces down to 4 pi over 3. So as we can see, 4 pi over 3 and 2 pi over 3.